As we already know, PARCC is the first online state test that we will be taking. Even though that the test is going to take place online, there is still a lot of paper that needs to be generated in order to implement this test. As we have talked about it before, we are putting all of the papers together for you, and we are going to place them into a bucket. We are making a bucket for every school, and in every bucket is going to be divided into grade level and by color and by test section. 3rd and 6th grade get the maroon color, 4th and 7th get the teal color, and 5th and 8th get the navy color.
As Ursula already mentioned, you're going to receive one of these PARCC buckets Thursday, tomorrow, and so we want to walk you through a little more detail of what one grade level looks like. You're going to tell where math and ELA begins for a given grade level because they are labeled as such, and then behind the math label are the then coming individual sessions that you'll have. The first session is always the gen session with the most students. What you'll see in front of that are blank file folders that match the coloring for that grade level. You will need to organize the student testing tickets from the general session and distribute them into individual file folders for your test administrators for that general session. And you can just write in pencil very lightly the administrator that will have this particular folder, and then these can all go back in this set so that you've got your general ready to go. The rest of these, this happens to be one that is a small group. So you will take out that small group, you can write lightly who the test administrator is, and then inside you'll see that we've matched another label so you know it's the same one, and then the student testing tickets that correspond are placed there as well. Each grade level follows the same pattern. If you need additional for whatever reason, you can let us know, but you should have everything taken care of within your grade levels and organized, with the only step that you need to do going through the general section, identifying which of the students are within each test administrator's section, pulling those off into their own individual file folders that match the color so that they're ready to go for each test administrator.
Each student will be receiving one student testing ticket for ELA and one student testing ticket for math. That means that the student will be using their one student testing ticket for ELA for all 3 units of ELA tests, and they will be using their one math student testing ticket for both units of math. That means that the teachers, when they hand out their student testing tickets for the beginning of Unit 1, they will be collecting that same student testing ticket from the students at the end of Unit 1, and they will be redistributing those same student testing tickets at the beginning of Unit 2, and so on and so forth.
In the front of each of the folders as well, you're going to see the seal code page, and we'll do that on a bright color so that it stands out for you. And Ursula mentioned that the testing tickets, there's one testing ticket and it is used for each of those units. That is not the same for the seal codes. You'll see in the seal codes, and you can also reference the back of the manual, the modified manuals that we provided, you'll see when those seal codes come into play. But they will be inside the beginning of these folders right before the header page for the student testing tickets. In the very beginning of each bucket, of your school bucket, you'll see a green folder. And in that green folder are bright yellow documents. And we've made enough of these for one for every teacher. And the bright yellow document, the main purpose is truly to walk people through the technical support piece. What should they do if they run into an issue? And we've given this to you already in the teacher overview document. You've got access to it, but we want it to be in a handy place. In addition, this is a brief checklist to remind everyone that they absolutely should have been through all of the testing materials, the manual, the accommodations pieces if they're going to be administering in that way, walks them through, reminding them to actively proctor, and so on, and ending the unit. So there are other pieces that support this process. This is just the quick check to make sure that they've got their ducks in a row before they're administering, and mostly, again, this technical support piece. Please also remind everyone we have a very vital piece of information as the very first bullet, and that is that test administrators need to have students restart their Chromebooks before each and every testing unit. This should eliminate most of the issues that we might see, but it's very important for us all to remember that. So again, we're going to restart the Chromebooks before each testing unit so that we can hopefully keep the machines running as well as they can. We wanted to talk to you about one other piece. And just as Ursula mentioned, even though this is online testing, there's a boatload of paper that we still have to process and generate. So we have scratch paper that we're sending to you for every one of your students. We are doing it in half sheets. So again, we save paper and we don't waste as much. Each student is going to have 2 pieces of scratch paper for every testing unit. And once that paper is written on by the student, the directions tell the student to write their names on their scratch paper, it gets collected back and kept as a secure document. And we'll have directions for you about giving all of that back to us at the end. But for now, you're going to keep that scratch paper safe and secure. And every test unit, students get 2 pieces. Now, if they need extra, they may have extra. And we're sending you plenty of scratch paper, so you should be just fine. I know we've taken the chance to say this to you as often as we can, but we so appreciate everyone's efforts to really pull together and do this in such a collaborative way. Everyone is doing their best, and we're really going to make sure that our kids are going through this process as well as they can, and we're really prioritizing that instructional time, and we can't wait to get back to good teaching. So thank you all for all of your help, and just thanks again.